Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. I'm your host, Kiera Dent, and I have this crazy idea that maybe I could combine a doctor and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, regional manager, practice owner, and I have a team of traveling consultants where we have traveled to over 165 different offices coaching teams. Yep, we don't just understand you, we are you. Our mission is to positively impact the world of dental, and I believe that this podcast is the greatest way I can help elevate teams, grow VIP experiences, reduce stress, and create A-teams. Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. Hello, Dental Team listeners. This is Kiera, and you guys, I did a podcast a while ago that you guys absolutely just ate up, and I loved it. I loved it so much because I got so much great feedback on it, and that was on my topic where I actually did a book club. So I realized we've got time right now. So why don't I dive back into a book club? So this is another book club. If you want to join me on any of these books, feel free. I'm going to share some of my favorite books that I've been reading lately. That way you guys can join me. Or you can also email me some of your best books. It can be fictional, it can be personal development, it can be business, you name it. I think all of us need to develop and grow ourselves in all different ways. So what I'm going to tell you guys are some of my favorites. So you guys know last time I talked about Rachel Hollis. Love her still. If you haven't listened to her, go for it. I also talked about traction. Get a grip on your business. Well, guess what, guys? There is a whole EOS library. So if any of you are traction obsessors like I am, I want you guys to go snag the EOS library. There's two books in particular that I really wanted to hone in on. One is Rocket Fuel. This book changed me, you guys. It talks about the difference between the visionary and the implementer. And it was so helpful for me and my implementer, Kaylee, to realize exactly what each of us should be doing for maximum efficiency in our company. And I loved it. You guys, it talked about, as a visionary, what I do best. Also an implementer, what they do best. Also areas that we should be watching and growing and evolving in to really make us the most effective as a team working together. So in the Traction, Get a Grip on Your Business by Gino Wickman, they also have another book called Rocket Fuel. It's a really fast, quick, easy read, but it will tell you about what an implementer and a visionary, how you guys can work so well efficiently together. That book I highly recommend. I loved it. I thought it was really fantastic. Kaylee loved it. She read it as well. And it felt like it really made us more streamlined on how we could be the most effective business. Another book in there is How to Be a Great Boss. That's part of the EOS as well. There's also there's the team portion of that as well. I have not read that one, and I'm in the middle of How to Be a Great Boss. Phenomenal. Everything from EOS is very simple, broken down so you can follow along, you can really digest it. And these are books that you want to go back and read again and again and again. So I'm going to push that. That's my business 101 for you guys of some of the books that I really just love. So another book, this is a personal development leadership one, Summer Casmel. You guys know her, love her. I do too. She recommended this to me, and it's The Motive by Patrick Lencioni. If I botched that, I'm real sorry, Patrick. I don't know how to say your last name. This book is super great. It's a book that talks about leadership and about leaders and about what our motive is behind being a leader. It was really interesting because so often I think we grow and develop when we have leadership tendencies, personalities, but sometimes we go into leadership when we might not be the best leader. And so really making sure that we're not being a leader for the wrong motive, because at the end of the day, if it's the wrong motive, you're not going to be a very effective leader. So it was a quick read, you guys. I put my AirPods in, cleaned out my closet, listened to The Motive. It was really good. And I've thought about it throughout the week. It's probably a book I'm going to go back and reread because it really made me think differently. It also might be a great book for you guys to share with your leadership teams. Some of those lead positions in your practice to make sure, are they really being a leader for the right motive? And what I loved about it is it's okay if that's not your strength or your go-to or the things you really want. That's okay. Really get into the zone of excellence where you truly shine and thrive, because that's where you're going to be the happiest and genuinely happy, not climbing the success ladder for the sake of climbing it, literally being where you thrive the most. And so I really, really, really loved that. Another book, this is a fictional book that is in my Audible account right now. I've started it. I'm a little way into it. I still have a lot left to go. So I'm recommending something off of speculation because I've heard from so many people I respect that it's a fantastic book. And that is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. If you guys want a good fiction book, I have heard that this book is one that you cannot put down. Like I said, I've had a few other books that I've been reading at the same time. I tend to pop around a little bit. So that is a book that I think if you guys want, definitely have that in there. Another book that I really liked was The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by, once again, Patrick Lencioni. Same guy that wrote The Motive. Okay. We're just going to call it that way. You guys, I loved The 5 Dysfunctions of Teams. Loved with all my heart this book because it finally broke down why teams are dysfunctional in such an easy manner. And there are 5 dysfunctions. And if you can't work through those, your team will be dysfunctional and you're not going to get the results you want. Results is the very tippy top. And when I listen to this, you guys, I've talked about this in Teams. They have great visuals online. This one was so good. So doctors and office managers, I would suggest you read this. Team members read this. You could have it a book club for your whole team to read because when you guys can have true, transparent, honest communication, you will be able to move mountains as a team. It is crazy incredible to read together that book and even just leaders, if you want to read it, to realize how your team is dysfunctional. Even when you think you've got a great team, if you don't have trust, you're going to lack healthy conflict. You're going to lack a true commitment, which leads to a lack of accountability, which then leads to a lack of results. It's so brilliantly laid out. So I really strongly recommend that. Another book in my Audible account, you guys, is it's called Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. I'm a big fan of Ryan Holiday. He is the one who did Ego is the Enemy, Obstacle is the Way. He's got a lot of great ones. And Stillness is the Key really kind of tied into meditation. And honestly, I think it's a great one to read right now because when we have stillness, when we have that calm in our life, we're able to make more sound decisions. We're able to feel better. We're able to be happier. And it was just a very insightful, a very impactful book that I really enjoyed. So if you guys are looking for a book on an inter-reflection, a different way of viewing the world, Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. Literally anything by Ryan Holiday, fantastic. Hello, Dental A Team listeners. This is Kiera, and you guys, right now is the time to get your operations manual done. I just did a podcast, Operations Manual 2.0. Be sure to listen to that. And if you're like me, sometimes that task can feel daunting, which is why the coaching team, the Dental A Team coaching team, put together, you got it, Wednesday workshop for the next 4 weeks, starting on April 15th. We'll be running these at 12 p.m. Pacific, Wednesday workshop, where we're getting your operations manual done. We're taking you through step by step to ensure within 4 weeks, you actually get that operations manual done with accountability, with traction, and with ease. So be sure to join us. It's free for all. So there is no reason you shouldn't join us and get that operations manual done. Wednesday workshops every Wednesday starting on April 15th, running through May 6th at 12 p.m. Pacific time. Pop on over to thedentalateam.com/strategy to join our webinar series. Can't wait to see you guys there on Workshop Wednesday. Another book, this is a business book I'm going to tell you guys, is Killing Sacred Cows by Garrett Gunderson. And my husband, Jason, he actually read this. I was recommended this book a while ago. I read the bulk of it. I haven't read all of it yet, but I really like Killing Sacred Cows. It talks about the myths around, basically around how we invest. It talks about the myths that we have around 401ks, about retirement, about just different things financially. And I really like it because he thinks differently than a lot of other people. So things that you have believed your whole life, he's going to question that. And I love books that question my beliefs because that forces me to either be more grounded in my belief or to change it into what really is going to make a lot of difference for me. So I really enjoyed that book. And Jason's read it twice now. He loved it. There's so many things in there that have really helped him a lot as far as business of thinking differently. So Killing Sacred Cows by Garrett Gunderson is another really fantastic one. Now I'm going to go out on a limb. This book was a little different. I'm going to be honest on that. And this would be a book I would suggest for women primarily. Men, you're welcome to read it. I think it's more geared towards women than men. And it's called Do Less by Kate Northrup. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. It's a little weird. It talks a lot about how the female body with menstrual cycles and the tides of the moon and all these things. Like, don't worry, when I told Jason about this, he thought I was downright crazy. So I think that there was a lot of great things in it. I realized that, we cycle on a 28-day cycle, and that she talks about how there are different phases where we're more productive. We're wanting to be more outgoing. Then there are other times when we want to be more introspective and really looking inside of ourselves and using that. And when we kind of follow our cycle and what our body will naturally do, we tend to be more productive. We tend to be less stressed out. It was really a book for moms as well. I'm not a mom, and I got a lot out of it. And I think my takeaway from the Do Less book when I read it was, one, I should be listening to my body more. And I think that goes for men and women. We should be listening to our bodies more. Our bodies are there for us. They're gifts for us. And we should definitely make sure that we're using them to the best of our abilities. It also I love the title of Do Less. And her whole principle and premise of the book is how we can actually do less. And you guys have heard me say this many times. Charlie taught me this. We can do less and create more. So what I loved is men, if you want to read it, you're absolutely welcome to. I'm not deterring you from it. I'm just letting you know she talks about the menstrual cycle and how that definitely impacts. So there were some things that I thought were wild. I'm not going to lie about that. There were some things I thought were really powerful. So this is a book where I give it probably I don't know. I liked it enough that I shared it with a couple of my friends as well. So I don't know what I would rate it. I will tell you, I liked the premise a lot of how can I do less and create more and be more balanced in myself. So I don't run the rat race of life anymore. And I think that's one of my really big things right now of developing a self that doesn't run the rat race and really feels fulfilled. I think for a long time I've been searching for fulfillment. I think a lot of people search for fulfillment. And it was interesting because I was talking to one of my coaches, and she said that I might run the rat race of the gladiator personality style, so much so that the personality style of the chill, the hanging out, the really strong connection, I might be shutting that side off of me and therefore lacking fulfillment. Because fulfillment comes when we can embody and embrace, she said, 4 different personality types. And that was the gladiator, the go get out there, we're going to take over the world. And then we have the lover, the person who can be very intimate, kind of like Mother Teresa, and very, very just giving back to the world, very loving. Then there's the magician or the wizard who just loves a puzzle, loves the inquiry. They're also kind of the hippie style that's like, it doesn't matter. And then the last one was the queen or the king, who's very poised, who's very fair, very, I think the word I'm looking for on that is just very calm, collected, and is always looking for the greater good, not necessarily the popular one. And she was telling me that oftentimes in this fulfillment journey of how when we can really appreciate all 4 of those and never think that one's right or wrong or that I need to be one or the other, that's really the formula for a very fulfilled life. And I really have loved that because I think so much I read these books looking for fulfillment, looking for personal development, looking for that gladiator. I've got to keep growing and progressing. And at the end of the day, it might be that I need to enjoy the calmer moments. So the book Do Less by Kate Northrup, I really enjoyed because it helped me think, how can I actually do less and create more? So there's also, let me see, I'm kind of scrolling through my Audible for you guys of some books that I really, really, really enjoyed. I told you guys about Elizabeth Smart's books, in the past, some of those other ones. I think right now that feels like I've given you guys quite a few different ones, hopefully on different ones, some that were fictional, some that were about personal development, some that were on business finance, some that are on, the inner things, two little stories with the motive and 5 dysfunctions of teams, really great stories. Those would be my my book club wrap up for you guys right now. And if you guys are reading some fantastic books, please, by all means, I'm always actively looking for the best books. I don't want to just read mediocre ones. It's not worth my time. So really sharing the best books that you've read, the things that really just light you up, that inspire you, that make you a better person. I think I told you guys last time, I'm going to give you one last book. I haven't started it. So if you want to book club it with me, I told you guys about, I think, The Untethered Soul. Oh, you guys, that book is so out there and it makes my mind hurt to think of it in such a different way, but so beautiful. And it's a book to read over and over and over again. And I'm so excited because I just got it. It's in my account. It's The Untethered Soul at Work. So I'll let you know I haven't started that one, but if any of you enjoyed The Untethered Soul, I did see that they have an Untethered Soul at Work. So, and if you haven't read The Untethered Soul and you want one that makes your mind literally kind of hurt, and you might need to even email me and ask me to help with that. I don't claim to be a guru on it. I did a book club through that book and learned so much that I'll happily geek out with you via email on that book of just different, like, let's geek out on that, of different thoughts and ideas. So, but that's something that I'm really excited to read about, The Untethered Soul, because that book changed me and made me a very different person. So anyway, guys, there's my book club wrap up for you. I hope you guys love them. Please share with me other ones that you've read that you really love. Email us hello@thedentallyteam.com. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your books. Or if you're loving any of these books, let me know which ones you've read in the past that you really, really loved. You guys, I have so many good books. I have actually used my books. I had to get rid of my bookshelf behind me. I didn't have to. I just didn't like how it looked on my video conferencing calls. And so I actually took all my books and stacked them. So I have a little book reading corner. It's so cute, you guys. So I actually use them for a decorative piece. And it's really fun to look at all the fun books and all the things of just pure geniusness in there. They say more gold has been mined from the mines. Okay, so mine and mind. Mined from the minds of men than in like mining fields or in the world. So more gold has been mined through the minds of men than anywhere else. And I think that that's such a beautiful thought. And we have it all at our fingertips. We're so blessed to be able to read. So I used to hate reading. It wasn't my thing. So if any of you are in that zone, Audible on 2.5 times the speed, so that way I'm forced to listen to it, has helped me a lot. But share your stories with me, guys. Share the books you're reading, the things you're learning. And as always, take time right now to advance yourself, to grow yourself in whichever direction. I don't care what it is, but make sure that you're keeping your mind sharp, and reach out if you guys ever want to. I'd love to hear from you. So send it on over hello@thedentallyteam.com. And thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time on the Dental A Team Podcast. And that wraps it up for another episode of the Dental A Team Podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.